All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first digital drop-in. I am Chris Volpe, running for U.S. Senate in the beautiful state of Ohio. Tom is helping me out today. He is a lead programmer at my company Multivarious and helping me with various moderation. How you doing this morning, Tom?
Doing all right. Got up bright and early and excited to tackle the day here.
Sweet. We also have got baby girl in my lap, so I'll see how she does. I think she might be a little antsy for some food. Do you want to get down, sweetheart, or what do we want to do here? Yeah, I think she wants to get down.
Just to
Oh,
clarify, the Facebook is just to link people to the YouTube and the Twitch, right? You're not actually live on Facebook.
correct. I'm not live on Facebook.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know. Should we be? I've never done
I
any.
don't know.
I've never done any Facebook streaming. Um,
If two, why not three?
if to, why not? I sure. I guess. I don't know. I never really, just personally, I never really went to Facebook for any of my streaming or video needs. I always associated it with a place for posting and whatnot. So for me, it just doesn't seem like a place where I would want to watch
That's fair.
content. But
That's fair.
I am not the end all be all of the digital world, as far as I'm
I think
aware.
it's a good strategy. Just have a link to the binary stream, and surely people will be okay with one of those platforms. Maybe.
Yeah.
If people are like, I hate both of these platforms, then I don't know. We'll have to code our own platform.
Oh, Jesus, is that what we're gonna do? Are we gonna get into building our own streaming platform?
If we're worried about being under the corporate thumb or whatever, we can be under our own corporate thumb.
Yeah. Why not? One more thumb to be under, I suppose.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna pause this. I'm just gonna pause my videos because you're keeping an eye on them. So I just want to make sure. My internet's been kind of funky lately. I don't know if it's because of the heat, um, but it has not been.
mm,
It has not been its best, we shall say.
interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
That would make sense if it's just running hot. If it's ordinarily running hot, then it could be pushing it over the limit or something.
Yeah, and I don't have fiber. I've got it's supposedly 1 gigabit, but it never gets anywhere close to that. It's I think I'm regularly at like 2 or 300 maybe, but it's an old coax setup, so who knows how old these wires are as well. Um, which is kind of wild because I live in a condo slash apartment like complex area, and there's got to be I don't know, there's got to be like 200, 300 homes in this little block, maybe more. You would think that they would have AT&T would have rolled on up in here with some fiber, but um, they have not. So it's just kind of like, well, whatever, whatever, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. Too bad. Because if AT&T rolls up, then you can get Toast.net like me, and you can be super happy with your service. Not
Toast.net.
sarcastic. Actual shout out to Toast.net.
Isn't Toast built on WoW's infrastructure?
No, they're built on AT&T. They're an AT&T, basically a business client. I mean, essentially they rent a business plan and they lease it out to the residents. So, but it's under AT&T, yeah, ultimately.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just
So
like
that
a deliberate middleman to convert AT&T business class to like residential,
hmm, interesting.
which has worked out really good for me. It's pretty affordable and they're very responsive. They get on AT&T's case in a way that I would be unable to as an individual.
Okay. Oh, that's good. I mean, I always really liked AT&T's fiber when I had it, but I just can't
Yeah, like that's what it is. So I'm enjoying it. It's been good for me. They're such limited offering. It's like very specific areas, and I'm in one of the hot spots for it. So they're a smaller business. So just what it is.
okay. Well,
I used to be under WoW, and they got bought by Breezeline, and then
mhm.
Breezeline. had took so long to, apparently now they're okay, but like they took a long time to like transition, and they left me without internet for like 3.5 weeks while they and so I switched. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah,
Yeah. Well, I do miss being in our office when we had access to like nice internet and stuff. But what can you do, right? What can you do? We're just
keep
we're,
forging ahead.
we're just living. So Tom, I got an interesting little article here. I was going to do a talk on it, I think, or a Chris quick
Okay.
thoughts. So let me pull this up real quick. Boom. All right, this is from CNN. From oh my gosh, CNN and all your ads. Vanessa Yurkovich, and this was published on Monday, so a couple days ago. Beef prices are the new egg prices. They're soaring. The last time Americans likely noticed a spike in price in the grocery store was when eggs reached a record high. Since then, egg prices have fallen after the avian flu outbreak was contained and producers were able to build back supply. However, beef prices are hitting records, rising almost 9% since January. June's consumer price index showed steak and ground beef prices up 12.4 and 10.3% respectively. And then there's some talk in here about how the beef, I don't know much about raising beef. I'm curious to go to some farms and learn more. But it sounds like the process of raising and importing slash exporting beef is significantly more challenging than eggs are. So I'm kind of curious, Tom. What are your are you a steak?
That
Are you a
makes.
steak guy?
I mean, not really. Like on occasion, it's nice, but like it's a pretty, it's a fairly rare occasion.
Okay.
I know we do raise a lot of cattle, like especially, I mean, some of the larger corporations have a lot of like land in like South America for raising cattle, and I wonder if like somehow are they immune to the tariffs? Like they get, because they're like an American company, they are allowed to import, because that might be a cost of it. I mean, the domestic farmers have to deal with the costs of the tariffs and things trying to export, like, well, like ultimately because they're getting retaliatory tariffs from other countries, so they're probably having to raise prices across the board even if it's food for a domestic market, just because they're losing from other parts of their business. So I mean, it seems like it would
Yeah,
go hand in hand with things like eggs. I
I mean, we
mean,
we import a pretty sizable amount of beef from outside of the U.S. So, um, I mean,
right. I just
that's
wonder if those specific cases where it's like a specific company, like a corporation, which might be based in America, leasing a bunch of land in Brazil or elsewhere to like have a huge amount of cattle, and then having to get that meat back into America afterward. If they're getting slapped with tariffs from that, then that, well, I mean, that's that's what happens, I guess.
that is one of the issues that we are having. So I believe I'm double checking this because I think we are. Um, okay, yeah, Australia and New Zealand have a 10% tariff. It appears. I know that there was talks about. See, this is the problem with um, these constant, in and outs on tariffs, all the tacoing, is that nothing is consistent from one week to the next.
Hmm.
So we are consistently stuck in this place where we're never quite sure what is going to be. And actually, this is June 27th. And so we are 5 days away from August 1st, which is when the next batch of tariffs is supposed to go back in. So we'll see if that happens or not. But this
Yeah.
uncertainty is making it really difficult. And then, um,
Yeah, it literally gives corporations an out to just raise their prices because they're like, well, it might be like a, we if they don't know whether it's gonna be huge or nothing, then it's actually pretty rational to just raise your prices because of the risk itself. And it's like you don't even need the tariffs to like cause prices to get raised because they'll just do it based on the possibility. And yeah, like it's then
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was like the number. I'm trying to find it just so I double check it, but I think it was about 93% of the money that we raised in tariffs during the first Trump administration had to go back to farmers to cover the costs associated with them losing all of the money from the tariffs to begin with. So
Right, 'cause it's just gonna go bust. Like
yeah,
a lot of farmers operate on pretty thin margins. Like you can't be playing with them like that.
yeah, and we're also in a very rough spot because you mentioned the big companies. We are consistently in this sort of world where the small farms are getting just absolutely decimated by the big, mega farming agriculture
Yeah,
companies, and it's becoming. I mean, it's not really different anywhere else, right? We're seeing that, both you and I work in the video game and tech space. We're seeing all these consolidations in that space. We're seeing it all over. I mean, these giant companies they are positioned in a way where they are able to purchase or sort of unfairly compete in the various markets in their verticals, and it makes it very hard to for like a small guy to get it, to be able to be successful. Because you think about, I don't know, subsidies or grants or things like that, and a lot of times you're competing on those grant dollars against much larger companies that, like, first of all, I mean, they have people that can just like write these grants, right? Like they can
yeah,
afford
yeah,
to bring on people whose job it is to just go out, scour the landscape, and write all of these
yeah.
grants.
Find them and write them. Yeah,
Yeah.
like just knowing what's available in the first place requires a lot of research.
Yeah. And so that creates a really challenging environment. I've seen that with some of the stuff that I'm doing where, uh, you know, just to work with a company, just like a basic company for a grant is going to cost you somewhere between 20 and $50,000 just to work with that group
Right,
to help write the grant for you.
they
Um,
want their cut of that grant. Right,
yeah, so
because
they're going to get 20 to $50,000. But a lot of these grant companies, these that help you write, like they get paid regardless of if you get the grant or not. So you're paying them 50 grand, and there's no guarantee that you are actually going to qualify for any of the grant or the subsidies or whatever. So it's a challenging
yep.
place to be in. But also, I know that a lot of farmers, like small regional local farmers, like you said, the profit margins are so thin because their various costs, for equipment, upkeep, all that stuff are pretty high. You have to outlay some pretty large capital expenditures every 5 to 10 years to buy new equipment or upkeep the equipment or whatever, and it's hard to compete. You're like, oh, my
Yeah,
machine's gonna break. I got to spend another $1 million on this thing. $1 million for a small
yeah,
farmer is a huge amount of money. $1 million for Monsanto or Tyson or whoever's, it's nothing.
yeah. My family's got quite a few. My family tree's got a few farming branches. Like my aunt who has a dairy farm, and she's got, it's definitely $1 million facility. Like if you just count up all everything that's like all the equipment, but nobody will ever offer her anything more than just the bare price of the land itself, like for it. So she's got $1 million farm, and no one will give her any more than like 300K. They're not offering her anything, so she can't afford to sell because nobody's actually gonna buy the farm. They're just gonna buy the land and then just destroy everything, I guess. So she can't afford to stop farming it because the profit from that farm is like more valuable than what selling it would have been. So she's like locked into just keeping this farm going. I wish my uncle were here for this conversation. Like he passed away a couple years ago, and he was like the head of the Ohio Department of Agriculture for several years under Obama, and he's getting like inducted into the Ohio Department of Ag Hall of Fame like August 1st
Oh
of
wow.
this month. Yeah, like So he was a big champion of small farmers, especially in Ohio. So we miss him a lot, and just seeing what's happening is really depressing because it's not, he'd be doing everything possible to fight against this stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
I
sad.
what kind of farmer was he?
Well, he mostly like helped, just was more of like, because he served in, he went to the military, and I think when he was a personal farmer, I he just kind of enjoys local plants and stuff. Like he has two fully grown pawpaw trees in his backyard. Like I don't think he, because it's mostly like the family's farms that were adjacent to him. But he just got too busy with like military service and then political service, being like the mayor of Botkins and stuff like that. So he didn't farm personally, but he knew a lot. He like, was very knowledgeable and would just like to go out and talk to people. He was very bridge builder, and very politics don't matter. Let's just talk about like what's important, like here and now.
Yeah,
And so yeah, like I think he did like there were some years where he was just had like, I think he just like farmed corn, like um with part of you know our family's farms, but
yeah,
yeah, not like personally directly. But I might also be wrong about that because I didn't get to know him as well as I could have, just because we have a big family. And um
sure.
he's my I got several siblings between my mom and him. Like he's my mom's oldest brother, and he was already like he was already serving when mom was in like high school, so she didn't get to know him as well as her other siblings, and blah blah blah. But yeah,
Yeah,
actually, some price can
it's funny because
actually Google this.
Botkins is a very small town.
Yeah,
It's like a couple thousand people maybe. Pretty small town here in Ohio. It's funny. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was at somewhere. Where was it? Shoot, it doesn't matter. But someone was mentioning, they were like, I'm from Sydney, and I was like, Sydney, whoo, because now I know I've got that Sydney connection
that's
because of
right.
you, Tom.
That's right. Yep, 45365. That's a nice art house film. Like you can go watch.
And then we went to what was that? Was it the Spot? Is that the restaurant?
That is the restaurant.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was
The
a.
cook's spot to eat,
Is that
to
what
be
it's?
specific.
Is that what it's
Yeah,
officially?
it's like the cook's spot to eat, and everybody just calls it the spot because
Okay.
that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Also, I think on the
Um,
isn't the logo like I think the Spot is like the big, right, like logo wise, like on its banner or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, it's like a primary colors. They just got like
Mm-hmm.
very retro, like blue S, yellow P, red O. They just have like the letters going around like a just like a neon spiral. um
Yeah, that's right. It kind of
yeah.
looks like it's like a record, right? And it's a
Yeah,
spot.
yeah, it looks a bit like a record. It's trying to be like, well, I mean, it is a pretty authentic like 50s diner. So
Okay.
one of the few surviving.
I'll
And they're known for having like presidents come through and get pies.
Oh, really?
They have a list of several presidents who have stopped by and which pie they ordered. Yeah, they're
I
pretty
don't
proud of that.
I didn't when Tina and I went, we didn't get any of the pies. We just I forget what I think I had maybe a burger. Um but I didn't get any pie, so maybe I'll have to make a journey back out there and pie it up a little bit.
Mhm. Is mainly when W came and got a hamburger and a pecan pie. That was a big day for them. So,
Ooh, I could totally do a pecan pie. Yeah.
oh yeah, their pecan pies were really good.
Is it?
Definitely.
Man,
Uh huh.
now you're do I need should I get a pecan pie? I don't know.
Do it.
Not that I need one, but yeah, maybe I'll get a pecan pie for fun. I was gonna ask you a question, and then you got pecan pie stuck in my head. So, uh, Anyway, reminder to anybody watching: feel free to ask questions if you want to. We're monitoring the chat, or you can just kind of hang out and lurk. That's all good too. Just an informal thing we'll be doing every week. I just kind of chat with people. So,
My uncle was Watkins mayor from 1972 to 1979.
oh, nice.
Went
That
and,
was
just campaigned face to face, door to door, old school style.
mm-hmm.
Dragging Amy around. She was not. She was not a fan. Definitely a city lady, and she was like, "Why are we doing this?" She stuck with them, and they got it done. So it's funny. Reminiscing.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I imagine being a mayor in the '70s was a much different world. But
Yeah, that's where I think he got a lot of his agricultural know-how. Just that's a very agricultural town. Pretty much all of them out there. That's not anything besides like Dayton or Lima. Uh, you're looking at some kind of farm town.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ohio's got we got the big three, the three C's you call them: Columbus, Cincy, and Cleveland. And then you've got like the sort of next rundown in terms of size and well, yeah, we have a whole handful of just small towns. Ohio's a pretty big state. It's not one of the biggest states. I mean, just like sort of size wise, geography wise. Um, and it's
Yeah,
a
it's very like you can look at a map and you're just like, wow, there's like where do the towns end? Like they cover everything in the state. And when you're driving, it doesn't feel so much like it, but like
mm-hmm,
when you look at a map of it, it's like, yeah, there's hardly any patch of like actual untouched like old growth forest or whatever.
sure.
Um,
Yeah, we
it's just,
went we went out. Um, I'm trying to remember the hiking trail we did, but I've done a lot of hiking. I've been trying to do a lot of hiking, get out. Been trying to take baby out some places. She's getting old.
yeah,
She's 13. I want her to be able to get out and get some exercise and smell all the smells. But we were driving back, and we decided to take the rural roads back instead of the highway. And yeah, it was just a beautiful drive. It was really lovely. Just kind of crisscrossing around Ohio. Probably took us an extra
that's where
20 minutes or
that's where
whatever.
baby
But
started, rural road in Ohio. Like,
mm-hmm. Yep,
so
coming back from
gotta
Sydney.
gotta go gotta go live it up.
Yeah, yeah. Ohio's got like a lot of interesting just roads that crisscross everywhere, which is cool. But it was a lovely drive, beautiful day. So yeah, yeah. We live in a good
The
state.
the state's wonderful. Yeah, there's so much to appreciate of natural beauty of it. The old wetlands, just the way we got kind of roll up to the mountains down to the lake. So definitely a little microcosm of the country. I feel like.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's a pretty flat state overall, but we got a lot of Appalachia's got some exciting things. You got some up and downs, some twists and turns. Um, which
got a lot of great caves. If you like going underground, like the
yeah,
glacier valleys and all kinds of interesting things.
yeah. I haven't done any of the intense caving. I don't know. The idea of getting stuck underground, pinned between two rocks or
Yeah,
whatever, doesn't seem particularly appealing to me.
yeah.
But I'll go.
Hollywood's been assisting with people's fear of that. Yeah, like there's been a lot of
Yeah,
movies and stuff.
I watched a guy. The YouTube algorithm gave me a suggestion the other day, and it was a guy who does spelunking. I don't know why YouTube gave it to me, but uh, he was literally like pushing through a space that was like this big. I'm like, you are a lunatic, and just like slowly,
Yeah, but there's a
centimeter by
really cool
centimeter.
crystal behind.
I
You gotta
I'm
crawl through and see this really cool crystal.
I'm sure there's something really cool back in there, but I don't. want to
The only
do
thing
it.
crazier than modern spelunkers is like the actual like the 19th century like the farmers who were like, "Oh, I found a cave. Let me go down there with a oil lamp
Yeah.
and and just see if this is worth telling people about or not."
Yep.
Like go through waist deep water with an oil lamp, like
Yep.
checking out your
Better men
weird
than I.
sandstone cave.
Better men
Yeah.
than I I'm fine sitting here in my chair. I mean, I'll do a lot of hiking. I started doing some climbing, just a little bit like indoor
I love
climbing.
climbing. Yeah.
My thing is, it's getting better, but I really jacked up my shoulder doing weight training. I just overexerted it on the bench and some shoulder exercises, and it took quite a while. It's more or less rehabbed. This is also the shoulder that I had to do the physical therapy on when I got hit by that drunk driver. So like it's never
Oh yeah.
quite been as strong as it was before I got hit. Uh, but when I was when I was doing the indoor climbing, I definitely like you get into certain positions where you put the weight on it, and you could like I could really feel it, and so I stopped because I didn't want to push myself too hard and end up ripping something that would require months or a year of you know
Yeah.
rehab or
Climbing
whatever.
climbing would probably be good type of activity just because yeah, it's weight, but it's only going to be body weight, and it forces you to do a lot of interesting motions that are unusual. It's got to be helpful for like that's what they just want you to like move it in every possible way as much as you can, right? Like therapy wise, like
Mm-hmm.
do you have like a physical therapist like help you like uh
I did.
work on it or anything?
Yeah. So I got my actually my personal trainer who I'm going to be doing a video with as part of my like small business series where I'm going around and doing interviews with small business folks and just chatting to them. We were supposed to do it on Monday 2 days ago, but he ended up getting like a sinus infection. And so he was like not feeling great. And he was like, I don't know if being on camera doing an interview with a sinus infection is probably going to be the best thing. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. We can do it whenever. There's no rush for this stuff. So
At
he
least it'll be
helped me.
digital. Don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Actual. Hmm.
We were gonna go to the gym and record it on site there.
Oh yeah, okay, that
Um,
makes sense.
but still, regardless, it's it doesn't really matter. Uh, sorry, I just moved that.
Not to break our flow, but you might want to see if you can change the titles of the streams on Twitch and on YouTube because
Oh, did
they
I not?
still got the like the restream default title.
Oh, okay. Let me do that.
Might be more encouraging for people to jump in.
Let me do that. I probably have to do it.
The
Probably have to do it through Restream, I would assume. Oh, I see. Yeah, got it. Restream. Good call. Thanks, man.
yeah, just do the drop in number one or whatever. I do like drop in more than hangout because it's even less like it puts even less of a burden on the person deciding whether to join it. Like, oh yeah, I'm not even gonna be expected to hang out. I can just drop in. Like, I think it's for the massively non-committal person, it's as good as you can do, I think. Trying to get them activated a little bit.
Update all titles. Updating.
Heck yeah.
Oh, I can even throw in a image. Look at that.
Ooh.
Although apparently it can't be a JPEG. What?
Ooh. Shots fired.
Yeah, what is that? Platforms like YouTube.
Somebody one platform was like no JPEGs, and now Restream has to be like no JPEGs.
I'm not. I don't want to get too far into this because this is not the Chris Vents about nerdy software stuff. But I am losing my mind on those new image like Google's got their own image. Was it like web? Uh, oh my god, what's it called? WebP or what? .webp, and then there's the other one um, that is making its way around the internet. I'm just like, can we have JPEGs, we got GIFs, we got PNGs, like we got everything we need. We don't need a proprietary web because you can't like just grab images now, right? Which is I think part of the reason they're doing it is they don't want you to just be able to like grab images from a Google search and do stuff with it. But like
Yeah.
that's
I
how the
mean,
internet works.
most, yeah. Like, I think, like, even like GIMP will like let you open a WebP and then you can turn it into whatever you want. But yeah, it's just an extra step. And that's enough to stop all like 80% of casual downloading of images. You just add that
Sure.
one extra step.
Oh yeah,
It's
totally.
annoying
I
though, for
can,
sure.
I can convert any image into anything else, but it's just yeah, it's all these annoying extra steps that like don't serve any purpose. It's like I have to jump through all these hoops so that Google can create its own proprietary web image format that at some point down the road will become locked in some way. They'll walled garden it off once enough of the internet adopts it as its own platform. It'll become its thing, or it'll contain some metadata that prevents you from doing anything useful. Um,
Mm.
I watched a really great video. Let's see if I can find it here about the internet and like liminal spaces. And what am I doing here? History. And it was just a really interesting video. Uh, let's see. I'll
At
post
the
it.
very least, WebP is open source. We can at least give them that. But
I guess. I guess if that's how you want to go. Here we go. Why Gen Z misses a time they never knew is what the video is called. I'll grab the link here. I'll post it in chat. Or apparently I can't post it in chat. What? Copy. Okay.
I think the titles are still unchanged in the descriptions.
Oh
Maybe it
my.
just happens on the next time you go live.
Can you not paste in OBS? Does not allow you to paste? Is that true words? Is that a thing?
I mean, it should let you paste. Twitch might be down as well.
Are downstream or Twitch streams down?
I think Twitch is down.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the stream, not the platform.
All right, let me figure that out. Always an issue. Always an issue. Okay, settings.
Soon you'll be a restream guru. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, is that what you said? So you said Twitch is down. So let me turn that off and then turn it back on and see what happens.
Yeah, it's just giving that error 1000 again.
Okay, it says it's streaming data.
Semi-up. Really trying to be up.
Actually, let's do this. I'm going to stop streaming real quick.
Yeah, maybe refresh it.
Yep. And then did all titles. And then start streaming again.
Let's go.
Let's go. But yeah, Tom, thanks for hanging out and helping me out with this this shindig. I think
It's kind of cool to be able to just talk about anything. It's got no thematic boundaries at all.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things. So I just want to keep this, light, easy breezy. Obviously, over time, I'm sure we will talk about intense topics. It's just the nature of the beast. But I also, I don't know. I just feel like there's how would you phrase it? There's like the set approved talking points that politicians have, and then a lot of stuff doesn't, make it into there. So, like for example, we were talking about the beef, right? And that beef article led to conversations about Ohio farming, which then it led to conversations about your family. Was it your uncle, right?
Yeah.
And then that led to conversations about, being a part of the agricultural department and being a part of a small city. And that led to a conversation about Ohio and all the, how pretty it is. And
Everything's interconnected. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
So yeah, it just gives us an opportunity to kind of just talk about things that we don't really need to be, right on the point for. We can just have a conversation about things we like, or this city we live in that's interesting, or because for folks, I think we mentioned this, but you come from Sydney, but you live in Columbus now. You went to school at the OSU, so you went from a smaller town into the largest city in the state, which Columbus is a very large city overall. It's like the 13th largest city in the country. So it's just different vibes, different thoughts.
Since I have no plans to leave Ohio, I really reached the top of the mountain here.
Mhm.
uh, but yeah, no, like it's true. I've gotten to see kind of both perspectives. I mean, you go from what's the breakdown in Columbus? I mean, I know like the whole state's pretty gerrymandered, but isn't Columbus area like 80% like Democratic, something like that? Like my home county is 80% Republican.
Mm.
So, and I love the people of that community, and like they are just, yeah, it's hard to like draw out the true source of the country's malaise or like the negativity, but like it's really just people getting manipulated, and
Yeah.
that's what sucks. You see
Well,
people you care about.
sure. The whole red blue thing only exists because we have an election system, particularly the electoral college, where the math works out in such a way that like it will always trend towards a two-party system over time.
Right.
It
Yep.
because the benefit of you voting for the I guess I should say the negative
Yeah.
of the effect of you voting for the candidate you want that isn't one of those two, like a third party candidate, ultimately hurts you in the long run, because you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
really like this guy. I want to vote for this guy. But I know if I vote
Yeah.
for this guy, it's going to be one vote away from like the Republican Party, right?
Right.
And I
Because
don't
it's
want it.
winner take all. You can't
Yeah.
get your like nine to 15% representation of your third party like you should be able to get,
Yeah.
but
Whether you win by
that's
one
not how it
vote
works.
or,
Yeah.
100,000 votes, the result is the same. And
Right.
so I'm
Yep.
I'm a big advocate. I like ranked choice voting. I think it's an interesting idea where you can provide a lot of opportunity without having what's called the spoiler effect involved in it. But
Yeah.
also,
It's a big help.
yeah, also just the whole. I just don't. I've never bought it. The electoral college system is it's a stupid system overall. Um, I think we should find a way to either get rid of it or to navigate it in some better way. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And a lot of people, they'll be like, well, it will. It's really funny. I talked to Republicans and Democrats, obviously, and a lot of other people, and we'll talk about the electoral system. And both parties believe that they don't want to get rid of it because they think it will hurt their party. Like Republicans
It might
think,
stop a tyrant, but it hasn't stopped a tyrant
I don't even think
ever.
it's ever designed to stop a tyrant, but
That's what
personally,
people. That's one of the things that the defenders will say is like, well, if everybody in the country loses their minds, probably the people of the electoral college will somehow be immune to that,
yeah.
which
Well,
is crazy. But that's like the
yeah. I mean,
thought that they're like the last bulwark against the tyrant manipulating the entire country.
sure, but I'm not even
Uh,
talking about the actual act of having electors vote, which in itself is a strange thing for a democracy or a republic or whatever the hell you want to say. We're like, we're not a democracy. Okay, whatever. But the yeah, having the electors involved, where it's just like, oh, a whole bunch of people voted, but these electors can vote however they want.
yeah,
They're not stuck
you
to
know what would
any.
make more sense? Why don't we just directly vote for the electors themselves, right? Then you can be like,
Yeah.
That wouldn't that be wild? Wouldn't
I
that
think
be
we should just
crazy? I mean, I don't think
get
it's a
rid of
good
the
idea.
electors, but yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea, but I think it almost is more. It almost makes more sense than to have unelected people transmit the electoral like will. Uh, it would at least make more sense if the people voted for the electoral college just directly, and just like the people who are part of the electoral college have to explain to the public what their values are, and
Hmm.
like it's like, does this person represent me in general? Are they going to make a good decision for president? But I don't know. It's just like then people realize that they don't have, and that's the problem. Is like if people realize that their vote is basically thrown away half the time, they might not they
Yeah.
might not like that. But
I am a big believer that you should be able to bring your ideas into the coliseum of ideas, the marketplace of ideas, and you should be able to navigate and fight. And I think every idea should be able to be challenged. Now, this has to be challenged with good intentions and intellectual honesty. You don't just like, this rebel without a cause thing. I'm just like, fighting against the man for no reason other than they're the man. Like that's just, it's a waste of time and it's stupid. You need to,
yeah,
I think you should always be able to ask questions, but simply asking a question, you just, oh, I'm just asking questions. Well, are you actually interested in knowing the answer and figuring out a solution? That's one thing. But if you're just asking questions to be, you know, a rock in the
provocate.
shoe, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not. You're not actually doing anything. And this rebel without a cause attitude is just childish, in my opinion. But
Hmm.
that being said, I think yeah, we should find a way because ultimately, and like I said, Republicans and Democrats both believe that like removing the electoral college will hurt their chances. And I actually think you're like, well, how can it hurt the chances of both parties, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like it should, you theoretically think it would help one, but the answer is it does hurt both parties.
Yep.
But it hurts both parties because it makes them have to actually fight in the marketplace of ideas. Right now, the two parties have a stranglehold on the gates to enter the arena, right? So you want to go into
And
that
the rules
yeah.
themselves.
You want
Yeah.
to go into that coliseum of ideas, you have to pass the gate. You got to fill out your forms and then you got to go through your tests and you got to, so like, yeah, it would hurt the Republicans and the Democrats to get rid of the electoral college, but I don't think that would be a bad thing. I think it would force them to actually have to really, do the work on creating better ideas and better policies and then having to
Yeah.
convince people that those policies are worth fighting for.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of work to do to rework the rules of engagement that our political system goes through. I mean, things have gotten way too gamified. As game developers, we recognize game, and things are getting gamified to a
We must be up
severe
on Twitch.
degree. Yeah, we definitely are up on Twitch. Goodbye, bot.
Goodbye, bot.
But yeah, like we've witnessed like the whole political system be gamified to a shocking degree. Things like ranked choice voting will help, makes it less of a bloodthirsty kind of thing. Yeah, just the places that have enacted it so far, just automatically you can see more congeniality in politics just by default.
Yeah.
So that's like a good stance. And then the other thing, I mean, we're almost hitting the point with gerrymandering where it's gotten almost so extreme that if they make it any more extreme, it's like counterproductive. Like I saw like in Texas, they're kind of running into that. Like it's so gerrymandered that if they try to mess with it a little bit more, they're almost like taking it beyond the realm of safety where
Yeah.
it's like they've spread out enough Democrats into like every region that they're trying to like solidify, and the margins are just they just don't have they can't dilute it much more, or it might actually become competitive, which would be very ironic. But hopefully something like if something like that happened, like Texas went blue despite being gerrymandered, maybe that would be a shock to the system of the legislators that they're running a fool's game trying to gamify this, and they just need to like like split the population in half with landmarks and historical boundaries, and there are algorithms to do that. That is
Yeah.
open source. Like it is not hard. They
Yeah,
don't
so
even have to write very much law for this.
I said this the other day, but the algorithm necessary to create fair and equitable districts using uh, a computer system is like one of the
Shortest line
yeah, it's one of
population
the
divide.
it's like one of the
Yeah.
easiest algorithms to create. Like it's not that challenging. We got a question
Grab a
from
map, follow the river, cut things in half. Yep.
yeah, we got a question from the chat here. It's what is gerrymandering? So gerrymandering is the way that we each of our states has a certain what are called districts. And those districts are generally based on populations, and so you have a state. Each state has two federal senators, and then it has a number of U.S. Congress people based on the population of the state. And so you break up each state into these districts, and then those districts are where the representatives represent. But gerrymandering is when you intentionally like draw the districts in such a way that it gives you an advantage, your party an advantage in the elections. And so
Right. You make sure that there's a majority of your party, and then you like try to spread out
yeah.
the other
So you can
constituents between different areas.
so you could have, let's say you had a district, or let's say you had a state, whatever, of 100 people, and it was 70% Democrat and 30% Republican, just as in this example. You would think that, okay, well, we've got, 10 seats. It should be 7 of them go to Democrats, 3 of them go to Republicans. But it is possible to construct districts in such a way that you might be able to get it down to like 5-5, or maybe even 6 Republicans, 4 Democrats. But the problem is, as Tom was alluding to, and this is what's going on in Texas as they're trying to redraw, is like you're redrawing the lines for the districts, but you're not changing the voting patterns of the people when you do that. And it's totally possible that you could draw a district that takes away some, Republicans or Democrats, and then the line. So you might have a district that's like 15% Democratic lead or 10% Democratic lead, or 20% Republican lead or whatever, and then you redistrict, and it might become like 10% Republican lead, 10% Republican lead. You're like, well, 10% is a pretty good thing, but okay, well, now we draw 3 districts, and you've cut yourself down to like 6 or 7% Republican lead in each of those districts. 6% is like, that's doable.
It's swayable, yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's usually
swayable.
Margin of error.
Yeah, and then if you try to go even further, and you're like, well, let's make it 4 districts or 5 districts. You're now at a 4% or a 5% lead. Those are numbers. So you might end up going from, we're like, well, we could have had 3 districts locked down at 7 or 8% lead, but instead we decided to try to redistrict 5, and now we're fighting in 3 of them where we wouldn't have had to fight before.
And even if they don't have challengers from the other party, they probably have more moderate candidates within their own party stepping up, because they're like, oh yeah, the margins are super narrow here. Like I can be not the most extremist, placating the base person possible.
Yep.
I can kind of finish the history lesson and just say this act of artificially drawing districts was first done by a politician named Jerry, and the news outlets compared the district to a salamander, so they called it a gerrymander, and that's where the term comes from. It's like a little salamander that Jerry drew. But the other part of it is the tools that they use to gerrymander are the modern tech tools that they're using. They are so overthinking this. Like they are so 5D chess, galaxy brain. They have tools that like look at each individual house. They are drawing the lines, zigzagging between houses, and that is just really
here,
insane.
let's
like
just for fun,
you're overcooking.
I've got to pull this up.
Hopefully that answers your question, Charlie. We're happy to talk about it.
So here's a map of Ohio, right? Let's get rid of some of these ads, of course, with all the districts. And you can see just how weird, like this district goes this way. I think you can see the map. Can you see the map? I don't know. Sure, why not?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay, I don't know. And I think you can see my my
yeah,
mouse.
look at those,
okay.
like just those.
But yeah, here's Montgomery, Green, Fayette. But like look up here and this is like the Cleveland area. Like what is going on over here, right? Like there's just all sorts of craziness happening. This little bugger over here. This little thing is going over here. Like what is this thing? Like why is this like little isolated district? Like this is all just
Yeah.
craziness because they are intentionally trying to create
Yeah.
districts that they
What
can
they've done
control.
to Franklin County. Look what they did to Franklin County.
Yeah,
Look at
like at a minimum, you could make it uh, so that no county can be bisected, right? Like that's a thing you could do. But like, look over here in Hamilton, you've got this like little worm, and then that little bit there worm. So
that
yeah,
that
it's just
stupid
weird.
dragon curve in Franklin County actually pisses me off. Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
that is so offensive.
it's wild.
Um and where's this is supposed to be like a state that has supposed to have reformed all of this. We are supposedly a state that has successfully passed gerrymandering reform. Arnold Schwarzenegger was all up on it. He was like, Ohio has rescued their democracy. And then they just realized that, oh yeah, they just have it written so they can stall out and then grab whatever map because, oh, we can't decide if this is fair or not, so we'll just grab. And it's based on the previous results, so the previous gerrymandered results are used as the baseline for what fair districts are. So it's all a con job. Like it's the gerrymandering reform like helped lock in their ability to do that like, in a really severe way. So this is kind of the forces we're up against here.
Yeah. So a lot of people
'Cause
recommend.
Ohio is such a purple state, and it is if people think it's a red state and they haven't seen the map of the districts, then they are deluded.
Yeah,
Just
I
straight
don't
up.
think it is. So there's the a lot of people talk about just using the shortest path algorithm. Like that's one way you could do it, where you just like bisect the state based on 50% population.
Cut the population in half, right?
Yeah, then you
Shortest line that cuts the population in half.
and then you take that and you bisect the next thing, and you just keep doing that until you
Yeah.
get to the number of necessary districts for it.
And
So
you can even start with like major rivers and like things like you can have the natural features first. You can cut by that and then just start dividing, and that it
yeah,
works out really well as well. Like that it's compatible with like natural geography. So yeah,
yeah, and so and obviously it also depends on how many um, how big the population is. So like how many representatives you have, you know? So like all that sort of changes a lot of the things.
yeah,
But
all the budget math for the whole state like flows out of these districts. And that stupid like tentacle, what are they getting substantially more funding than districts around them that are not part of the weird eldritch tentacle? Like it begs the question to me, like some preferential treatment going on in this little snake of specific houses.
mhm.
I would believe it, but I don't know. You got to get in there, Chris. You got to figure out how bad it actually is.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing too, is that the districting is done at the state level, you know, and then but the people that get hired, like I'm running for Senate, my responsibility is to the people of Ohio, but I'm supposed to
As a
be,
whole. Yeah.
yeah, as a whole, but I'm supposed to be fighting at the federal level for things. And so a lot of times, a lot of these things get kind of like bifurcated in a way where my responsibilities would be focusing in Washington on what's going on there, and then there's a bunch of stuff happening at the state level that I do not, one, I would not have any control over, and also two, technically is not within my wheelhouse of responsibility because my focuses are supposed to be on what is happening over in Washington. So it just, and then you start getting down to
All you're
the
saying is I need to run for state legislature and then we can work together.
yeah, let's do that. But then you've
Hell
got
yeah.
the state, and then you start getting into your cities and townships and counties, and like
Right.
it's layer after layer after layer, right? Which in some ways is a strength because it means that at various stages there are checks and balances and ways to stop various bad things from happening. But it also makes it a confusing process, and it slows down the process, and so it's wild. It's wild.
Yep. Big
But
old complicated chaos engine.
Yeah.
And order engine. It also creates order most of the time, unless the less people are at the helm who are do not want it to create order.
Yeah,
Uh,
which goes back to removing the electoral college and the ranked choice voting and stuff, is that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party as a whole don't want these large scale changes because it makes it much more difficult for them to retain power. But running as a Democrat, that is not my concern. My concern is what is best for the people of Ohio and how do we make the best country that we can. And the funny thing is, all of this, maybe not funny, haha, but all of this, like
mhm.
this politics stuff, what's going on in Washington and the administration, it's all like the most base level, pathetic power, greed kind of stuff. Money, like none of this is. It's like they try to be sophisticated, like you said, they try to like really outthink themselves in every possible corner, but like it's really just high school drama nonsense at its base
Yeah,
core. It's a bunch of people who have power and money that want to maintain power and money, and so they will do everything they can to maintain power and money instead of being what it should be, which is how do we sit down and figure out solutions? Because I firmly believe that if we actually had, this will never happen in real life, but let's just pretend in a perfect world we're waving our
you got to
wands
say it
around.
will because you're running for office. You have to
Yeah.
say it can happen. Like,
Well, I think like most things, a variation of what I'm about to say can happen, but I don't know. We'll never be in a perfect world scenario, right? Because that's just life.
yeah,
But if every
yeah,
representative and every senator got elected, and every one of those people was legitimately interested in problem solving and sitting down and figuring things out, we would have 95% of the problems in America figured out within a year. Like we really would.
yeah,
Because there is a lot of, even though there's a lot of people that are, on different opinions on a lot of stuff, we can find these meaningful mid ground, if you want to call them common sense solutions to a lot of problems. Because the answers to these problems more or less already exist. They have been studied to death, they've been researched to death. We have people that have looked at these issues for decades. You just need sort of the political will and the interest to do it. And I think that's almost sad in a way that like the solutions are right there. Like all we have to do is like literally walk into the store and take them off the shelf. Like they're right there. Maybe that repaint
yeah,
them a little bit, change them to meet the needs. But the solutions are right there. And I think that that's really sad because people are being hurt. Every time we
yeah,
choose to not solve these problems, people are being hurt. But
yeah,
also, as a positive, it means that if we can get enough people that do share that sort of, that rigor, that intellectual honesty, that desire to do the right thing, that means that we can make really impactful, meaningful, personal, positive changes quickly if we can get enough people into those positions.
yeah. Hopefully, I just the internet has brought so much chaos into the system, but it should also be what shines the light into what's happening. Because, I mean, I think we've seen it in the last week. There are limits to the kind of conspiracy bubble that people can live in. There are things that will. There are there are like they're not nobody is infallible, and we're seeing like what happens when you spin a web of lies and it starts coming apart. Like people realize that it's more than just that. If you're going to lie about that, what else have you lied about? And I think just being able to show people logically like that we have a system right now that justifies its own corruptive tendencies, because you end up with politicians who need it's all they're tied up by money. They gotta start campaigning for their next election almost immediately. And
Yeah.
the all the lobbyists who have been putting a lot of money and resources into influencing them, they can, without morality coming into play whatsoever, they can simply say, well, we've already put so much money into our lobby program, like we would be fools to a lot like let that change, or let somebody else like start out spending us. Like it's basically like with this first past the post and with this sort of this like almost half-baked notion that we want term limits and things, but we didn't think it through all the way. So now, yeah, we have term limits, but it's like tied into this whole campaign cycle thing where the politicians hardly spend any of their time working. So then they almost need the lobbyists to tell them what to do because they don't have time, the wherewithal to like actually legislate. Yeah, just the more obvious this becomes to everybody, I think the better place we'll be in a country as a country. So I'm glad we can talk
Yeah.
about this stuff and
Yeah.
get it out there.
I think I'm a big fan. I think we should have term limits. I think like one, I think this is just like me talking, right? Like a lot of this requires constitutional amendments and stuff. Like I totally get that. I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
I think we should move the House of Representatives term up from 2 years to 3 years. And then I think that the Senate term should stay at 6, but you should only be able to do it twice, or
Mm.
either 2 years or I'm sorry, 2 terms or 16 years. So you could come in a partial. Because I'm coming in, for example, at a special election right now, right? And that will be a 2-year term, and so I think you should be able to come in for a 2 terms plus potentially a special election, so that would give you 16 years. And then I think we should move the House representatives up from 2 years to 3 years and limit them at 4 terms. So that would get you to 12 years. Because what you want is you want enough time. Because like you said, like House of Representatives, they're constantly, well, the ones that are actually in any kind of competitive district are constantly
Yeah.
having to be campaigning. So they're not able to focus on a lot of and it also really incentivizes people to do like really gregarious things, to keep
Yeah.
themselves in the attention, because that's how they need to keep drawing money. So move that up to 3 so that you've got more time to, I'd even be up to moving it up to 4. I'd be up to that conversation. But I think keeping the senators at 6, just because there's so few of them. And so just 2 terms at 6 makes a lot of sense. Keep the president at 4 because the president has so much power. That one person is the entire executive branch, whereas Congress and the Senate represents the legislative branch, right? So keep that at 4
I,
and 2 terms.
I think 3's genius. Yeah, 3 because Senate's already offset from the presidential cycle. Having the representatives at 3 would also offset them from the presidential cycle. It won't be such a clean, well, 2 years within your 4-year.
Mm-hmm.
We can scratch each other's backs. It'll make it a little tougher, a little more chaotic to like plan that kind of stuff out.
So I think those things
It's
make
healthy.
a lot of sense, because ultimately what you want to do is you want to create a system that allows what's called institutional knowledge to persevere, because there is just a lot of minutia that happens in the House. For example, I'm running as a Senate. I've never been a senator. There's a lot I'm gonna have to learn in my first couple of years, right? On just Senate procedure and stuff. And that's fine. I'm a quick study. I was at OSU's Senate for a while, so I get a lot of how the sausage is made. Got my Robert's Rules of Order. But
Good.
you want to be able to maintain that institutional knowledge so that every couple of years it's not like, oh, I've got to meet a whole bunch of new people and I got to learn a whole bunch of new things. Like you want to keep that, but you don't want it long enough that stuff starts to become stagnant. So it's like, I need to know how the vehicle runs so I can run it effectively. But then I also need to be getting new drivers into the seat every so often to bring in new ideas to try stuff.
Yeah. You want somewhere between, like, you want wisdom and experience, but you don't quite want a gerontocracy.
Yeah. So I think
which is where we're kind of at right now.
So the one I just sort of threw out there, and again, like we can go back and forth on the details for sure, but that gives you 12 years at the House, 16 years at the Senate. So we're now at 28 years in total, right? And that gives you 8 years in the presidency. So that would be 36 years in total. If you as one individual were to do all of those, that would be 36 years in public service. And then you would have to go like a maximum of 36 years, right? Now that's a
governor or something.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You could always go do governor. So 36 years is a long time, right? But like how many people do all of their representative time and then go do all of their Senate time and then go and do all of their president time. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
odds of that happening are so small that
Yeah.
you would end up most likely with probably most people being in the 12 to 18 year range at most, right? And that would be for two-term presidents that also serve some time in Congress. So I think that for me, that seems like a good combination or a good balance, I should say, of the amount of time needed to be in Congress or in the government, learning how the process works, as well as shifting some new life into there. So
Yeah.
it's not stuck.
With a couple other like state level or whatever, you can easily hit a 50 career. Who's gonna complain? Like, oh, I'm not given enough opportunity. Like, yeah, you are. Like, yeah, you are. Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to see
I,
who
yeah,
are the current longest serving members of Congress that are still alive. So, oh, Chuck Grassley, of course.
there you
He
go.
he is at 50 years right now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
our grassroots
Yeah, Mark Lee's
hero.
48. Chuck Schumer's at 44. Dick Durbin's at 42. Um,
Two Chucks almost add up to
yeah,
100 right there. That's crazy.
Mitch McConnell, of course, at 40 years.
Yeah,
So, um, yeah, that's like, I don't know, 40 years of having somebody in there doing the same thing. That's a long time.
yeah.
And that's a long time for your,
Biden was like a 50-year politician, right? Like not purely Senate, but
yeah. But that's what I'm
like
saying. Like, you could flatten that down a little bit so that you're taking
yeah,
your experience as a political operative and applying it to different areas, because being a congressperson is different than being a senator, which is obviously different than being president. Like those all require
yeah,
different pieces of knowledge and different skill sets, a different way
yeah.
of sort of campaigning and winning. So
Yeah, we need something to make our politicians a little bit less bribable. I mean, part of that can be paying them more, maybe, but like I think really it's like because a lot of politicians will say, "Well, I don't, I'm not keeping any of my money. It's all for the next campaign." So if we had some kind of system where like that can
well, they're still paying
normalize the playing
themselves.
field or something.
They're still paying themselves their salary.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're gonna say like, oh yeah, I raised like I got millions from. They're not gonna say they got millions from lobbyists, but if they admitted to
Yeah,
receiving millions, they're
their
gonna say
their
that that's all just for their
their
campaign war
campaign.
chest or
Yeah, their
whatever. Yeah,
campaign received the money. Yeah, totally.
yeah, yeah,
And then of course you
exactly.
have
But
super PACs for sure, which are
yeah,
problematic in their own right.
we've only
Um,
been allowing more dark money into our system
yeah,
over the last decade, so
yeah,
it's
I
not getting
agree.
better there.
I agree. I think that this is a weird thing to say because I think given what's going on, but I do think that we should pay like our Congress people and our president more to hopefully avoid corruption.
Should have
However,
just tracked with interest and inflation and stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah,
because
however,
just think about like the president makes I think it's like $440,000 right now. I believe like that's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but a CEO of a big company is earning tens of millions of dollars per year. And I understand
right.
public service is not a place where you're supposed to go to make a lot of money. That's not what I'm saying. But for those people who are sort of less morally or more morally flexible, we'll say, they'll find ways to on the back end to be earning a lot of money. So, like Supreme Court, legislature, and the high level executives, I could see them earning more money. However, given where things are right now, that comes with a big asterisk, which is I think they need to show some really good behavior and prove that they are
Yeah,
worthy of this change.
right. We want to make you less bribable, not just give you more money so you can farm more bribes.
Yeah,
like with
exactly. And then also,
uh
you do want to make sure that you are constructing a system that allows regular people like me to be able to both run for these positions and be able to do them. Because, there's a lot of like super rich people where the $175,000 you get as like a senator doesn't, I mean, that's nothing to them, right? That doesn't mean anything to them. And you think about, well, $175,000 is a lot, right? Like that's a lot of money. That's true. But keep in mind, so you'll lose what, a third of that to taxes. So you'll be down to like, let's say 125,000. But then you also have to maintain, unless you're like doing it on the real cheap, you have to have some kind of apartment or something in DC. And DC is not a cheap place to live, right? So now you've got two homes, whether they're homes you're buying or a place you're renting. And I live on the cheap, so like that's I can just find some apartment and just whatever. But DC is not a cheap place to rent or live, and so now you're going to be spending another what $30,000 or $40,000 on a second place to live in DC. So now you're down to like 85 grand plus the place you live wherever you live. So now you're down to what, 25, $30,000, and that's before you've paid any of your other expenses, your car loans, your credit cards, your whatever's. So, you know, being elected senator increases your costs significantly, plus all the travel time and all of
Yeah,
that you're going to have to
time
do.
is money.
So you need to think about how can we sort of, I hate to use this word, like insulate our leaders in a way, but that's kind of what you want to do. You want to put them in a position where their focus can be on the people's work. That's what they are
Yeah,
focusing on without incentivizing morally corrupt people to
right,
want to come in.
right. Nominally, that's why our Supreme Court has lifetime term limits so that they can just focus on their job and not
Yeah.
worry about the outside world at all, really. And it actually seems, for the most part, to work. But we don't want to do that anywhere else. Like that's the one scrap of monarchy that we have in our
Yeah.
system is like, yeah,
Well,
the
it's this.
justices are lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with like tenure, right? With like, you want to be able
Right.
to research, and we're seeing that now, I think, being very clearly expressed, where you want to create a system where researchers can focus on learning things that are applicable to the country and the world at large without being influenced and pressured by outside forces who are trying to maybe, excuse me, specifically get answers in some particular way, right? That's what tenure is designed for. And so I think that's those are things that we have to think about as we navigate going forward and deciding what we want our society to look like. Um, but I could definitely see us having a term limits. I do think we should apply like an 18 or 21 year Supreme Court. Like you can serve for 18 or 21 years. Those are the two numbers that kind of keep getting thrown around recently. And then you can, somebody suggested that after that term, you get switched to, I'm totally blanking on what the term is, but it's like, in essence, you become sort of like a backbenched expert, almost like a emeritus professor, but you be an emeritus judge. And then, so you are now a judge that sits in the back and that provides expertise and information, but you only sit on cases if the Supreme Court itself has a vacancy or if somebody needs to step away because they have a conflict of some kind. You can then,
Shadow judge. Yeah.
yeah, you could then bring in an emeritus judge, and they could function in that capacity. But I think removing the removing the politicalization of how we get judges in. And so I think an 18 to 21 year cycle that we started now. So for example, like we're just talking hypothetically here, right? Like
Yeah.
let's just say the law passed this year and we made the adjustments. So next year, three of the judges would have to retire that have passed that 21 or 18 year mark. So the ones that haven't would still stay in. You would take three that have passed, and let's see how many are past the 18 year mark. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think that makes a lot of sense, because then you can begin to shift out um, the folks that are in the Supreme Court, and you can begin to kind of, you know, create a cycle that'll happen over the next few decades where either due to death or due to, um, their term expiring, you would be able to put new people in. And then
I can't wait
also,
till we actually have real Neuralink in people's brains. So when
oh
you go to be
jeez,
a Supreme Court justice, then they grill you about your beliefs and they can just turn on your Neuralink and see if you're lying or not.
yeah,
That'll be great.
yeah, let's
We'll
do
have like an
that.
AI sorting hat that they just put on your head and it's like this person is bullshitting you. Like
Mm-hmm.
it'll be great. Have complete transparency finally.
Yeah, I don't think I want a
You
Neuralink in my brain. If that,
don't?
no, I do not. I do not think I want
Really?
that in my
Well,
brain.
it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be Musk's. It could be somebody else's like competitor.
I don't think I want any.
That's that the part that makes you feel better is it's not the Neuralink brand name trademark.
I
It's
mean, yeah, it's not. Yeah,
I
it's not the branding that I'm particularly worried about,
yeah,
though. I definitely feel where you're coming from, but yeah, I just don't want something in my brain, and
yeah,
particularly like look at how bad. Uh, I say this all the time. Like the internet is like borderline unusable right now. Watch that video I posted. I think you'll really enjoy it. But
yeah,
it talks about a time when the internet was kind of becoming a thing where the World Wide Web was a place that you actively explored and discovered
yeah,
things. Now it's a place that just provides you information. And
yeah,
the
yeah.
problem
That's
is
great.
that information is being provided by algorithms that aren't actually interested in your well-being. Their goal is to make
Yeah,
money and to encourage engagement, and all of that information is being monetized. Now take all of that and put it into your brain 24 hours a day. I do not want that. I do not want that. There's no use case that I think would benefit me in that way.
even
But
if I coded it, I wrote the software.
I don't know,
You
man.
trust it then?
I've seen some of your your products before they're about to go live. No,
Yeah,
I just think it doesn't matter who codes it. Like ultimately,
yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah.
trust you. I trust you way more
I'm with
than
you.
Elon Musk for
I'm with
sure.
you. I don't
Um,
want one either. I'm with you for sure.
so I don't know, but all right, man. Well,
But
it's
if
been
we
about an
force our Supreme Court justices to get one, then we change the world.
yeah. That's part of the job.
Yeah, you just have to be hooked into the machine that is hooked into all nine of them at once,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't even say anything anymore. They just think, and it intones the group conscience like combined into a single thought.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Sweet.
Give it to me.
Well, I think this is good. We went a little bit long today for our first one, but yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
we just
Thanks for
had the
the
technical issues. We were having fun. Yeah,
yeah. I think
yeah,
after I chop the video off, it'll get back down to about an hour. I mean, it could be. We're just doing this, right? It doesn't have to be any length,
yeah.
but
We're just chilling.
yeah. Thanks for
Thanks for
the
the
comments
chatters. Yeah,
from the chats. So Tom, thank you for being on the show, helping me out.
for sure.
Reminder, you can follow me at Volpe for America on all of the social medias, volpeforamerica.com on the website, where you can follow, support, all that fun stuff. We are a few days ending from July, so we're trying to get some more money in for the campaign by the end of July. But anyway, thank you all so much for being here. We will be doing this every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern on our Twitch and our YouTube channel. And yeah, I think this went well. So thank you all so much. And we will see you next week. Take care and have a wonderful week.